Good morning, Shefa, Bruchu v'Atzluchu. We are opening the new book of Sefer Bamidbar. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe, and God talks to Moses Bamidbar Sinai, in the desert of Sinai, ve'oel moed ma'achad lachodesh hasheni. We know that we are in the desert. We know it from last week. And there is written Behar Sinai. So we have the mountain, you have the desert, and what is the meaning of it? So first of all, we have to understand, when we're talking about Matan Torah, we are now a few days, a week or so, till we will get the Torah, B'ezrat Hashem. And we are building ourselves with Sfirat Omer to get to the level of human being, from like the level of a beast from the beginning. And we're doing it in 49 days. And when we talk about this, we have to understand, says the Midrash, the Torah was given to us Bamidbar, Ba'esh, U'Bamayim, the desert, fire and water. And what does it mean? The desert, when you go in the desert, what do you see? Nothing. Desert. And for example, to understand what the desert means, from one side, the desert, the fire and the water, they are hefker. Everybody can take it, everybody can do with it whatever he wants. So let's drive to Elat, and on the road, the Arava road, we will park the car on the right way and go into the desert the right way, of course, because left way is Jordan. And we go, let's say, for a few minutes, and then look around. What's the feeling? What is the feeling? What do you feel? You feel this small, like you're nothing in front of the creation of God, of this big desert and the big mountains that you see on over there on the other side and from far away. And the feeling is, wow, what am I in front of this creation? So the desert gives you the understanding that you are so small, nothing, and God is the one who created you and gave you everything. And then in the desert, what do you want more than everything? What do you want? Water! Water! And what is water? Water is Torah. Water is the essence of life. Without water, you cannot exist. Without Torah, a Jew cannot exist, and the world cannot exist. Because, as we said last week, im telchu bechakotai, okay, if you do go in the way of the Torah, okay, if you don't go, I will destroy the world. The world will be destroyed. Why? Because im lo briti omam valayla chukot shamayim va'aretz lo samti. If we don't go in the way of the Torah, there is no existence to the world. And the existence is the water. So we have the desert, we have the water. You know, the desert can give you a feeling that you do whatever you want to. So, of course, there is always a bad side. The water is like they say, the water is also the symbol of lust. But if you take things to the right way, for fire, for example, fire is burning. Fire can be the fire of lust, the fire of wanting all the physical, all the materialistic things of the world. And how do you turn off the fire? With water. But let's take all those good stuff. So we have the desert, the humbleness. And then we are getting the Torah on the lowest mountain, Mount of Sinai, humbleness, in the desert. And then what do we want more than all in the desert? Water. What is water? The Torah. And the fire is the fire of the excitement of getting the Torah, learning the Torah. So this is one point for us to understand. But the main thing is, when we look in our parashat, it says, "S'u et rosh kol habat." What is S'u? Raise up the heads of all the people of Israel, lemishpechotam, to the families, to bet avotam, to their ancestors. What does it mean? The Torah tells us we are one family. We are together. And when we're counting Am Yisrael, we're counting them as a unit that we have to get to this moment. Each one, Ishal Diglo is within the Pasha. Each one with his own flag. How many flags were there? That's not the question. Each one of us got his own flag. The meaning is, the flag is my abilities, my potential, and I have to use it. Ishal Diglo, Sfirat Omer, as we said, you need to count it by yourself. If your friend counts for you, you're not yoitze. You cannot, it's not counting. So you need to count it for yourself. But you must not forget for a minute that you're counting for yourself, but to build yourself in the Klal Israel as a part of this puzzle that is Am Israel. Has been said that the student of Rabbi Akiva died on Sfirat HaOmer. Why? Because didn't respect each other. It's very hard to understand. What do you mean he didn't respect each other? Well, this is Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. But Rabbi Akiva, he said, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha al klal gadol b'Torah." He based the whole Torah on "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." And his rabbi Hillel HaZaken, he said, "What you hate, don't do to your friend." That's the whole Torah. That's what Hillel HaZaken says. And all the other stuff is explanations. So the basic of the Torah is "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." So when we build ourselves, we must not forget the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva didn't respect each other in their own level, as we said, and I explained it. That their own level was that were sitting. It's written not 24 students of Rabbi Akiva died, but 12 couples, chavrutas, because the problem was with the chavruta, and not as an individual by himself, because they were sitting learning together. With his chavruta, and the chavruta is the most important thing that says, "O chavruta, o mituta." If I haven't got a chavruta, I better off be dead. Because with the chavruta, he was learning the Torah and getting to heights, and his friend did the chidush. Now he was happy for his friend, but inside he had the feeling, why didn't I do the chidush? And at the level of the Talmid of Rabbi Akiva, you shouldn't think like this. You should understand, if your friend is doing a chidush, it's like you did, v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, like you love yourself. So it doesn't matter who did the chidush. If your friend did the chidush, it's like you yourself did it. That's the level of Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. And why do we act like with mourning and about Talmidei Rabbi Akiva? If we want to mourn every Talmid Chacham who died, we can mourn the whole year around. Because the idea is miktzat, only a little. We behave like in mourning. In order to remember, when we build ourselves, we can forget and get to an ego trip. Wow, I am a tzaddik, I am. No. You are part of a congregation. You are part of Klal Israel. Remember what happened to Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. That you have to respect your fellow as you respect yourself. You have to love your friend as you love yourself. That's the basic of everything. So when you have abilities, your abilities are for the Klal, are for everybody, not for yourself. And this is what the idea is of Sfirat HaOmer. And that's the idea, Ishal diglo lebet avotav. This is the idea of each one of us with his own flag, but with one mission, to get everything together, to be a part of this beautiful puzzle of Am Israel. And when we do this, we are getting to the most, very easy to say, do I love everybody? How do I make myself love everybody? It's not an easy task. And this always, I remember this story, it's unbelievable. A few years ago, it was Erev Yom Tov or something, I went to one of the big shops, supermarket, and I needed a few things for Yom Tov, only a few things, and I look at it, wow. Big lines near one of the cashiers, big lines. I said, whoa, what am I going to do? Then I saw at the end a cashier with two people only, two ladies and one with a daughter. I said, okay, I'll go there. Wow, I didn't understand what a mistake I did. When I came there, I understood this. The girl there was I think maybe the first day or the second day in work, and she had to look for the barcodes of the products and look for it and find it. And then there was another problem. The counter was not big. So, and this lady had a full agala, full. So they took it. She had to find the barcode, put it on the other side. Then the lady, when it's filled up, the other side had to go to the other side and take the things and put them in the wagon, in the agala, the supermarket wagon. And Choser Khalila, and again, and it was taking time. Says, wow, I'm going to be here the whole day. I was already thinking about putting back all the things I took and come another day or whatever, leave it. Then I saw there was this lady with a daughter in front of me before this other lady. She told something to her daughter, and daughter jumped to the other side of the counter, and she was taking all the stuff that was already in the calculation, put it in the wagon, and her mother was helping the cashier to find the barcodes and helping the lady to take out the stuff. Wow, it was going quickly. Wow. And I said, why? This is V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. This is love your fellow man like you love yourself. Yes? What do you think? Is it? Think for a minute. And I tell you, not exactly. Because V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha is when you help somebody, when you've got no benefit out of it. That's real love. Here, she was really helping herself. It wasn't helping yourself. Is love yourself. Why? Because when she helped the other lady, she was really helping herself, not to stand there for a few hours and do it quickly. And then I said, wow, look what God is showing us. God is showing us, first of all, the real truth is that whenever we help to our friends, we are helping ourselves. Exactly like this lady with her daughter helping this other lady. They really helped themselves, but they were also helping this lady. And if we put it in our mind that when we help the others, we're really helping ourselves, and put the picture of this lady helping the other lady, maybe this will be the trigger to get to do things for the others and get to the level of the V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. So some people can say, well, this is a crooked way. What do you mean? Because you are talking about not loving the other, just loving yourself. That's not the way. Mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma. There is a very important task in life. You do things not only because they are 100% pure. You do things in order to achieve the pureness in whatever. But now you can also do it because you have let's say, a benefit out of it. But the idea is not the benefit, but to get to the level that you won't need the benefit. But through this benefit, you do things and you get from the level of doing it for yourself, to doing it for God, or doing it for others. And that's exactly the point. Because the real truth is, if you think about it, Kol Yisrael arevim ze b'zeh. That's the real truth, that we really, when we help the others, we help ourselves. But it doesn't connect in our mind, because why do I need to help? I've got no time. But when we put the picture, we have a trigger that really shows us that when we help the others, it really we're helping ourselves. This will help us to help others. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And this picture, I always got it in my mind. And this is another story. This was also years ago when the Rabbi Zion Yadler, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, he was coming to the Brisker Rav to get a blessing for they did this organization, a secret organization that was helping to a group, the group that are putting money into it, and were helping each other. If somebody needs help, they would take from the group money to help him. And he came to get a blessing from the Rabbi Mebrisk, and the Rabbi was not answering. He says, no, Rabbi, what? This is V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. He says, really? Is it V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha? 1 minute. Who are you really helping? You are helping each other. You put a group together that putting money, but if somebody out of the group will come, will you give him the money? Will you help him? So it's not V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You're really doing something that is helping yourself. And that is not V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And this, it's very, I'm not posek halachot, I'm not going into it. There are a lot of things that work this way, and it's okay. But if we want to really get to V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, we have to understand the idea. The idea is what we're doing now. We're counting to the Omer. We're counting the Omer, and we're building ourselves in order to get to the level as much as we can. Ke'ish echad v'lev echad. Iskan vayichan sham Yisrael, in singular, not vayachanu. Vayichan, like one. And that's the idea of Sfirat HaOmer. And that's the idea when we say, S'u et rosh kol adam bnei Yisrael mishpachotam bebet avotam. There are a lot of things in the parsha that we can put our mind into it. But because we are really a week before Matan Torah, before Shavuos, we have to understand and realize that we have a few days more to do the good, to build ourselves, and to build ourselves not for ourselves, but for the others, for the other people. This is our mission. This is what we should done. This is what we should do. And when we're talking about it, this is Sfirat HaOmer is a step by step, which is also a very important thing to understand. Sometimes we do things and we don't feel that we did something, but we did. And this is the famous story with Rabbi Akiva, when he got out of the field, and we talked about it, and he saw the stone with a hole, and the water drops on it. But when you look at the drops of the water, you don't see them doing anything. But this is exactly the idea. Each drop did something. You cannot see it with normal eyes, but you take a big microscope, you will see that it did something. In other words, a drop and another drop makes a hole. A small thing with another small thing makes a big thing. And that's exactly the idea. To understand and realize, Omer, we don't feel, we do. If we go in the right way, if we do those small things, for example, last week I was walking very early in the morning, and normally I listen to a shiur, and there are all this. I'm walking in very early in the morning, and you don't see a lot of people in the street, maybe a few strange people. And I say hello, some answer, some don't answer, doesn't matter, I'm going on my way. And suddenly at this particular day, somebody says to me hello or something, I say hello to somebody and he answers me, but it was something that was, I don't know. I turned off the tape that I was listening to the shiur, and I turned around to him and he was saying something. Then I understood the whole story. He had a problem with what's up, Go'ei Nefesh. He had I don't know how you say it. He had a problem with his, let's say, a spiritual problem with his soul. He had an illness that was hurting him from the spiritual way, from the mind. He had a problem, and there was this committee. It's called Makshivim, listening, and they're supposed to listen to. If you have a problem, you want to talk with them 24 hours 7, and he was phoning them and nobody answered to him, so he couldn't sleep, so he went out of the street and looking for like somebody to talk. And when he found me, he wanted to talk. So I stopped everything and I started talking with him, walking with him slowly, and tried to help him with talking and advice. And I hope I helped him. But the idea that I was walking with him, talking with him, this helped him a lot. Because when you have somebody that is hurt from the spiritual point of view, from the soul, from the nefesh, I don't know how you say, the word just got out of my mind now, it's pegua nefesh. It's like you have those who have now this, after the war, they have the problems that things happen to them and it doesn't let them sleep, and they live again those moments, halumei krav, like this is helem krav, what they call, like a shock, a war shock, or whatever you call it. And this guy was one of them. And you know, sometimes God puts in your position, but that's Am Yisrael. We are a big family. We must remember our ancestor and go in the way of our ancestor and understand that we are one big family, and build ourselves in order to Bezrat Hashem to receive the Torah in Matan Torah and Chag HaShavuot. Yom Tov, all the best.